Ladies and gentlemen,
Rick Ross.
D Wade is a rapper.
Season ticket holder.
And he's better. I'm going to go ahead and call it. He's better than half of these under 25 rappers out right now getting real rap checks with actual rap deals. Hi, guys.
Okay, Boomer.
It's your favorite Boomer. It's your Auntie Ty. We're in the building. Neck and knee pains and all that.
Welcome to the Chopping Block podcast.
It's not the Acid Reflux podcast. The Okay Boomer podcast.
The Tum podcast.
What are you kids doing on the radio over there? Podcast.
We are still accepting potential sponsors. So if any geriatric companies want to...
Listen, my life is powered by caffeine. So if anybody wants to sponsor me with that.
Yeah.
I would appreciate it.
We'll work for coffee.
But you guys, you don't have to be a big corporation. Like, we accept money in general. And we thank you for your support. I mean, we appreciate you for listening, every single one of y'all. I think we stopped looking at the numbers, which means they might be they're probably really okay.
We stopped looking. We have an audience. It's a solid audience.
I'm about to look right now.
And I'm super happy that anybody wants to hear me talk.
Same.
About anything. Like,
I mean, I be knowing people want to hear me talk, you know what I'm saying? But we had 332 total plays. Thanks, you guys.
Man, you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Shout out to Mikey in the building.
Mikey's in the building, our producer. I am at St. Boogie.
Cizz 215.
That's what we are on these social media streets. And yes, Rick Ross just released a song featuring D Wade.
And Udonis Haslam and Raphael Sadiq, produced by the homie Sap. I believe Sap's from Delaware originally, but he's out in LA. Shout out to Sap.
And y'all know that my base emotion is hate.
But what I am gonna say is Miami's involved,
right?
So you might be a little biased.
No, but it wasn't bad.
I'm just saying.
But look, I might be a little biased. I am a diehard Miami Heat fan in real life. I mean, I feel like now I might be okay to kind of jump ship a little bit because all my guys are gone. But I was there before. Contrary to popular toxic masculine belief, there were women that were Miami Heat fans before LeBron James. I'm one of those women. I was a fan before Udonis Haslam's rookie year. So I was there before him, and he's been there forever.
Shit, I mean, I was a low-key fan of Miami before that. The Glenn Rice days,
Look at you.
Alonzo Mourning. I mean, Tim
there.
Hardaway.
I was there. Those were my years. I'm still, one of my favorite moments in American pop culture history is that moment that Charlie Ward got flipped on his head.
Wow.
Because fuck Florida State. Anyway, y'all. So being that my base emotion when it comes to listening to things is, I come from a place of not wanting to like it so that I can't be disappointed. I think we're going to justify it that way. I was fully prepared to just be like, yeah, Dwayne don't need to do this no more. But Cizz and Mikey will tell you that I legit said, who is that? Oh, this isn't bad.
Yes, we should have taped the auntie reaction.
I mean, it does sound a little bit like, when Dr. Dre raps on something with somebody.
Yeah, he doesn't have his rapper voice down yet. It was kind of like talking the lyrics a little bit, but he was on beat and he had like a little bop to it. So
I enjoyed it.
I'm with it.
I enjoyed it. Anyway, you guys, this is episode 8. For those of you who are new to the podcast, welcome. This podcast is the audio version of 2 things that happen on our amazing website, istandardproducers.com. The first is the credit check, which is the most comprehensive list of album credits you will find on these here interwebs. I promise you. Thank you. We deserve that. Search your favorite artist's album and album credits, and you're gonna find us very near the top of what Google tells you to check. And the other thing that this podcast kind of brings to life is the chopping block column on our site, which we've been a little slow on this year.
But we got the podcast, so.
But we feeding the streets.
We still serving.
We still, out here repping for the creators. And Chopping Block is typically our track-by-track review of albums. Obviously, we're not going to sit here on these podcast airwaves and go through track-by-track of things. But we are here to talk about releases. So let's start with the shit that came out last week. Look at these transitions. Go ahead, Mikey.
Your bad self.
You know what I'm talking about? Making us sound like we got a budget, which we don't. So please go to Anchor at anchor.fm and find us. Matter of fact, no. Go to iStandardProducers.com, and at the very top of the menu bar, all the way to the right, you will see the Chopping Block podcast. You click on that.
You'll
My
find
computer's
us.
mad slow. You will find us, but also you can. Where's the Anchor joint? In the very top where it shows you this week's episode is our actual Anchor page, and you can go to that and give us some bread. We like coins. We like the kind that jingles.
Just the cost of a cup of coffee.
But we prefer the kind that folds. Y'all know what that's from. Anyway, last week in the world of music, Kamiyah and Kodi Shane gave us albums.
Girl power. And Grimes.
A lot of girls. And then they dropped the soundtrack for that movie, To All the Boys I Loved Before, P.S. I Love You, I Still Love You, which is the part 2. And that was a lot of women on that soundtrack as well. So tell us a little bit about Kodi Shane, Blooming, Volume 1.
Pretty dope album. Kodi's been doing her melodic thing. She's got some dope production on the album. It's a well put together joint. Shout out to the homies down at Bandwidth Studios. We got some people that we know in the credits as well. The lead single was the joint with Trippie Redd, which they had the video for, and that joint's pretty dope as well.
And that joint is called No Rap Cap, produced by Oz. I want Kodi Shane to get all of the attention that she deserves. I think that I don't know why she's not quite like bubbled to the top yet.
I don't know. Like, she's so talented. I feel like a little bit of it was her figuring out who she is, because she's super dynamic.
And also super young.
Right. And, trying to figure out direction. And I like that she seems to be in control of her own destiny. Mm-hmm. She's not one of them artists where you see it and it looks like somebody's telling her what to be. And I think she also has a really solid fan base. People that rock with Kodi Shane rock with Kodi Shane.
Right. And I think that's the case for a lot of these young kids.
Facts. So,
their fans be on it.
Some good joints on here. Super dope. It's volume 1, so it's super short. It's like an EP.
I think I saw. I follow her mom, who is part of her management team, and I think she said that it is 1 of 3.
Dope.
So, got some more new music to look forward to from.
So hopefully we'll get 3, and then we'll get like a deluxe version.
That just puts it all together. Or you can ask one of those kids to help you make one of those. What do they call them? The playlist thingies, where you could put them all together.
Oh, the playlist. Wow.
Yeah. So. These kids.
Can I get on that playlist?
These kids, I tell you. Kamiyah led her album or introduced her album with a song featuring Trina, which for me means that only good things can come from this. Did you get a chance to listen to it yet?
The single, no. So here's my thing.
But if you ain't heard the single that you ain't heard, then you ain't heard the album.
No.
Okay, it's fine. Me either.
But what I did hear, it's probably the only, because it's toward the end. Mm-hmm. I did hear 1-800 I'm Horny.
You would.
I did hear Get Ratchet.
You would make sure you heard that one.
Pressure is my favorite joint.
Okay.
I like Pressure. I like Get Ratchet. It's very in the box Oakland music. It's very Bay Area.
I like that.
It is super Bay Area. She's super hardcore and like I'll beat you the F up, but really I
want to be friends.
Right. So, she's a G.
After my own heart.
I like it, probably not something I'd listen to every day just because it's not my vibe every day, but it's definitely a couple of joints that can get thrown on the playlist. So if I was throwing something on my personal playlist, which I am, I'm throwing pressure on there.
Wait, I'm sorry. So I looked up Kamiyah. This can't be the same person. It's not the same person. Sorry. Because when you look up Kamiyah on YouTube, then it gives you this link about a woman named Kamiyah Mobley who found out that she learned from her mom that she was stolen as a baby.
Oh, no.
Kamiyah. My bad.
That's definitely not Kamiyah. I hope not. I don't know. Maybe.
Young Nudie threw his fans for a loop and dropped an album on Monday. I'm not going to hold you. I don't pay attention to Young Nudie like that. I don't know if people were waiting for this album or if this was a surprise drop. But what I do know is that the kids were very excited when.
Listen, I was on the Twitters and it started popping, and I started seeing it fly across my timeline. People was talking about it, you know, and Nudie been doing some good things out in the street, man. He been building his profile in the last year and a half, and it's a vibe.
I like that the project seems to really be split mostly between two producers, which is Coop and 20 Rocket. They have the bulk of the production on the project, and then there's a couple other guys that are on here as well. But I'm always a fan of like people who kind of lock in with the people that get them. So
we got G checked by one of the producers.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, on Twitter.
See, I be missing the slacks. So I thought when I was like, hey, you guys, go ahead and throw this up. And then y'all were like, we got checked. I thought that somebody else got checked before us.
The homie was like, oh, I didn't produce that. Oh, shit. He said that record was produced by me and someone else. And I think it was 20 Rock. I think it was Anyways. And, Tidal has the credits that were submitted.
Right.
Not by us. By the record label or the artist, because that's how credits work. And it says 20 Rocket and Coop, and I think it might have been 20 Rocket, and he was saying that it wasn't him, it was one of the other producers that's on DJ Mark B. So I don't know what happened. Shout to DJ Mark B, shout to 20 Rocket, shout to Coop. They're all over the project. Somebody need to get it right.
Guess who that somebody ain't?
Somebody in y'all camp need to fix it. So it's still wrong on Tidal. It's still wrong on our site. If you guys want to have your publicist send us over an amended
matter of fact, you know
credits,
what? I'll do y'all one better. We'll reach out to your publicist to figure it out.
We'll reach out to the
We
camp.
got y'all.
But just that's a big conversation we've been having recently is about how credits work. It's like we need a new version of Schoolhouse Rock's bill. I know all y'all saw the bill, how Bill's made the little 70s funk song. Oh, one day I was still
I'm
just
still
a bill.
mad that you remember the words.
Yo, that is the joint. So maybe we need a new version for credits.
I'm only a bill.
Maybe we need a new version for credits, but that's a big thing. It's a big conversation we had. We have it all the time in the Slack chat, just talking about being able to submit your credits, how they come through, which digital service providers show them in full. Shout out to Tidal. They have very comprehensive credits. Shout out to Jacksta, Music Brains, all these places you can go, Wikipedia, and get all the credits. So we're going to do a 3-part series on that. So be on the lookout for that on iStandardProducers.com, how credits happen.
Yes, I think we need that. We were impressed also by just this album came out on a Monday. And guess what? We paid attention to your shit.
We did.
You were trending because you dropped your album on a Monday.
So, if the strategy works, I mean, it speaks to, first of all, the groundwork that Nudie's laid.
Right.
It also speaks to your team and the rollout.
Because your shit was trending on the same Monday as Kobe's funeral.
Right.
So
and that's not easy to happen. So.
At all. So kudos to him. Maybe that means I need to go and listen to it. So you guys, I'm just going to say it right now. Like, we're about to have a full-on Royce the 5'9" Love Fest on the website. And if you don't like it, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Are we done with the albums from last week? I got it.
Well, Royce.
Oh, yeah.
Royce is the last album from last week that we wanted to talk about, which is now the number one.
Before we get to Royce.
Oh, my bad.
Because my daughter would kill me.
All right, BTS dropped
My
it
daughter
out.
will absolutely kill me. Shout out to the BTS Army. We walked in Target and I saw the box sets. They had 3 box sets available in Target.
You bought all 3?
I did not.
Ah, boo, so here was the Dad.
Thing. It was
she gonna put you in a home.
Listen,
and she gonna be like, remember when
you know
BTS
why?
had 3 box sets?
Because there's actually 4, and I wanted to come home and ask her which ones, she wanted. Because here's the thing. 1 has them in all white, and 2 has them in all black, and 3 has them in pastels, and 4 has them in colors.
Let's take a moment real quick and break down.
One of them has a coloring book.
The hustle that is boy bands.
Oh my God.
Okay? I need y'all to understand when I was 19, 20, I used to work at Claire's, right? The accessories place. So when I was 19, 20, the boy band du jour was NSYNC and Backstreet.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? Whatever merch you put out for the group, you then also get to put out for each individual guy because everybody has their favorite.
Right.
So now I need the NSYNC shirt, but I also need the Justin shirt. But I also need the JC shirt.
Right.
Right? Then I need like everything, the notebook. Like y'all gave them 4 different outfits and made 4 different box sets.
Right.
On top of all the individual members of the band.
That's just for now. Because first of all, they release music at an incredible clip. I mean, they have so many albums in the last 3 years, it's ridiculous. And they're like...
I was going to make a racially insensitive joke.
So these box sets, they come with, lyric book and, thank you notes from each individual guy. One guy wrote like 4 lines, was like, I was done. Other guy wrote like 2 pages. So, they each get their own personalities. Like, this is so well thought out. And it's $26 for each box set. And they know that people are going to want to collect them all. So you're probably going to spend at least $100. And, they're coming to America and all the tickets sold out.
Right.
5 seconds after they came out. So I'm going to have to pay a ridiculous resale price.
Hell yeah.
Because clearly my buttons don't work fast enough.
Geriatric fingers.
So, it's part of being old.
Just for the record, Cizz and I are not old. No. Like we joke around.
We joke about it, but
we ain't old.
Because we're
at best, we're your cool ass uncle and auntie.
Right.
Exactly. At worst, like that's where we're at with it.
So
ask my nephew.
BTS did not release proper credits, which is cool because it's translations and all kind of stuff.
Right.
There is a booklet. So when I get them, we're probably going to upload the credits because a lot of people want to know who did what because a lot of the artists are starting to write songs as well. So BTS Army, we got you. We know you guys are out there. Shout out to the BTS Army.
Shout out to the Menudo fans.
Oh.
That's your auntie's and them about Menudo. What happened?
We forgot Thundercat.
No, we haven't gotten to the singles yet.
We didn't get to Thundercat?
We haven't gotten to the singles yet. We ain't forget nobody.
Mikey, you're fired.
Mikey's not fired. But you earned that though. You lost that Plinko. Yo, you know what? That's the sound. We need to replace that with the boom, boom, boom. That's what we need. I got you. It's on my phone too.
Plinko. Wow.
The Plinko sound. So yeah, you guys.
Spay neuter your pets.
The Royce the 5'9" Love Fest that we're having on out.
And it's not just us.
It's not just us. First of all, I want y'all to know why iStandard Producers particularly is standing for this album. Royce, and I'm about to play y'all some clips in a little bit because I got to have a really good conversation with Royce on Saturday after the project had dropped, after he did his release party in Detroit, and he had a little bit of a lull, and I was so grateful that he even took that time to actually talk to me on a Saturday because this is a man with like a whole ass family.
First things first, you need to go to Google. You need to type in the Allegory credits.
And we pop up.
And check the rhyme because, we've been talking about this album, the lead up. We got to see Royce at the Trap Museum. We've been anticipating this, so it's here, and we're excited.
And so he decided that he wanted to take a crack at production. And like I said, I'm going to play y'all the little clip. Well, Matt, I guess I'm talking about it. We might as well play the clip now of, how Royce actually came into the world of production.
I was sitting in the studio, and I was not writing anything, so I was kind of bored. And I remember sitting in here with my DJ, and somebody made a joke about possibly going and buying some equipment. And I just felt like it was something to go do at the time, so I went. He told me to buy Ableton, so I bought Ableton. I brought it back to my studio. I hit DJ Premier and was like, "Yo, I got Ableton." And he was like, "Man, what the hell you get Ableton for?" And I was like, "Shit, this what TJ told me to get." He's like, "Man, take Ableton back." So he told me to take Ableton back and get an MPC. So I took Ableton back. I got an MPC. So I sat on FaceTime with Preem for like 2 hours, and he pretty much just walked me through how to use an MPC. So I started using the MPC. Maybe a month later, Mr. Porter came in and he showed me Logic. Once I learned Logic, that's when I kind of fell in love with the process. You know, all the way leading up to that point, though, it was just kind of like, I was just kind of like practicing with no real goal in mind. I was just looking at it like practice. You know, I wasn't even approaching it like something that I'm like trying to get good at. It just was like, I was just killing time, having fun. You know what I'm saying? Trying to keep it as fun as possible. You know what I mean? Like no type of pressure. You know what I mean? Like just fucking around.
Right.
And one thing led to another. Maybe after a couple of months, I came up with a few things that, you know, kind of inspired me to write some shit. So I wrote to one, laid it, wrote to another one, laid it. Then I got to a point where I started feeling like I was starting to get good enough to where I agreed to do an EP. Kino was asking me if I wanted to do an EP. And I was like, actually, that may be a cool idea because I can get a couple of my beats out and see what people think. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I did like 4 songs, and I couldn't figure out how to get these songs to fit together as a body of work that brings across a complete thought. So I started adding to it. And while I'm adding to it, like a lot of the shit that I be preaching around the studio to the youngins is starting to come through in the music. So then I look up and I got like a list of songs where it's going in a direction that's just indicative of where I am as a person.
So, yeah. Then he had a body of work.
Wow.
Then he said, he went on to tell me that he had 9 songs. And he was like, if I have 9, I have to produce however many more is going to go on here because it doesn't make sense. So it started out as an EP, then it became an album. And he was like, it doesn't make sense to go and get somebody else to produce the rest. Y'all, Royce gave us, I think it's 21 tracks on here, including the intros. And he produced on everything, including the interludes and the skits. Well, except for the one skit. And the beats are on level with anybody else that we could throw out there, right?
Yeah. No, I was thoroughly impressed by this being his first time. Yo, there are producers who've been producing forever who can't produce a whole album.
Right. Not only that, but we listened to it, and if nobody told you that Royce produced every track on here, you would not know.
You'd have no idea because they don't all sound the same.
At all.
You know, everything is sequenced properly. The overall album has a vibe, but he's got like different pockets. He jumps in. He's got different producer bags he's in.
Yeah.
And it's impressive to read the credits and the look and say, yo, this man did all of this. And he was the catalyst for every track on this album.
Yep.
Super impressive. And then the raps. Which are like, you already know what that is, but these raps are raps. Like, the top MCs are always impressive no matter how many times you hear them.
Right.
And it's a breath of fresh air. The whole project is just tight. And shout out to my homie Kane. Every time we play Call of Duty, we got a little regimen. We play 10 o'clock at night. He's been banging Royce for like every night. It's in my ear. He just know all the bars. He said, yo, you hear this? You heard this? Like, that's the hip hop that I grew up on when you were excited.
Yeah.
We were rewinding the tape like, oh my God, yo, you heard what he said? You heard what he said? So
he gives us that.
Shout out to Royce.
So one of the things, like I said, one of the things that was really impressive to me is the intricacy of the production on here. And it starts from the first intro. Like that first intro sounds like a movie trailer. And I asked him about that as well. And here's what he had to say.
Everything started out with skeletons. And like the Derek Grace part, those started out just strictly just me experimenting. I knew I loved what they were saying. I knew I loved those skits, but I wanted to see if I could put something behind it or play something behind it that can make, that can bring across a certain emotion or bring across just a certain feel or vibe. So I did a few things, different things behind it, and then when I finally came up with what's there, I felt good about that. And then the beat that I rapped on, like I just made it first. I made the beat first. I wrote to the beat. I wrote a longer verse, but then I shortened it. I shortened it a little bit. There were some things that was dope, but I didn't need to say them. So I just kind of trimmed it down a little bit. And then I brought in my man EJ Keys to play the piano. And he was playing some stuff, and then like the shit he was playing was kind of making me want to take some of the drums out on certain parts to leave kind of like empty spots, you know what I'm saying, to make it a little bit more dramatic, you know what I mean? And I remember thinking to myself, I want this shit to be like not predictable, you know what I mean? Not predictable and totally, I want it to be totally what it's not supposed to be in people's mind. That's what I wanted.
So yeah, not jumping into somebody else's lane because you're already good in your lane and assuming that you ain't got to try. You get kudos for that as well. I'm a fan, but I mean, I was already a fan. Fun fact, you guys: Royce the 5'9" is one of the very first, I think, the third interview I ever did, in my career in 2003. So also think about what I just said to you. In 2003, Royce had already done Bad Meets Evil, right? So he was already kind of known on that circuit, on that underground circuit, coming up with M and all of them. He was getting ready to drop his first album, and he was doing that. When I interviewed him, he was actually doing a performance at Central Park with Willa, whatever her name was, that had him featured on her song. What was it? Cat Ford? Willa Ford. Y'all go look that up. That rhinestone jacket, that's what he's talking about. Or rhinestone do-rag, that's what he's talking about.
Another fun fact, I think there's maybe 4 people touching production not named Royce on this project. 2 of them are iStander alumni, and one of them is a former client.
Give that an air horn, please. Give that drop one of Bougie Bonton's bombs.
Shout to S1 and Ant-Man Wonder. And big shout to the homeboy, Mr. Porter.
Yes.
Denon.
Like you heard, Royce told you, like, that's who went and taught him Logic. So, technically, Denon is all over this.
Man, listen, Denon is probably one of the most underrated producers in the game, period. And legends will tell you that. So that man is cold. And he's good people.
One other thing that I was really, really impressed with this project about, and I think we touched on it last week when we talked about it, was that the features, the Eminem feature is not even credited as a feature on there. Like, if you didn't listen to the song, which is not a song, it's really an interlude.
Right.
If you didn't listen to it, you wouldn't even know that he was on this album. And then even the known names on here, other than T.I., the names that you recognize are still up and coming people, to a certain extent. And we're talking about, I mean, obviously the guys from Griselda at this point, like, they here, right? They're not up and coming anymore. They're here.
They are here. But Kid Vicious showed out.
Oswin Benjamin, y'all. I love Oswin Benjamin. Like, I've been tweeting about Oswin Benjamin for like a year.
And he pulled Graph.
He pulled Graph out of somewhere. Well,
he pulled Graph out.
He did.
And listen.
And Graph came. Like, Graph did not show up like.
Listen, I don't know what your hip hop pedigree is, but when it comes to rapping, Graph has always been one of the illest MCs out, period. So shout to Queen, shout to Black Hand, shout to Graph. My man went in. It's just a well put together joint. The skits with Derek Grace and his daughter, just Royce knew what he wanted to do and he did it. So
the other thing too is that by including Derek Grace, And with some of the things that he says on this album, and even with some of the skits, some of the names of the songs, Royce is making a very, very clear stand as to what his ideology is in a lot of ways, but he's doing it in a way that does not intrude on yours. You could believe whatever the fuck you want to believe, but this
you
is
know
why,
why, right? It's because that's an allegory.
Ah, well, yeah.
And, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, the intent with this was ill. Like, completely his vision was seen through. It was Quentin Tarantino level. Mm-hmm. Like, the vision of what he wanted to do was just achieved. So,
right.
Shout to White Gold. He's got a couple joints on here. You know, just so dope stuff, man.
One of the things that I did talk to Royce about also was how being in the position that you're in, and I think you guys are going to hear me repeat myself because obviously this is a pre-recorded interview that I did with him, but just how like him being in the position that he is, that he doesn't necessarily have to reach back to younger cats. So let me let y'all hear that clip right quick.
But you know, it would be easy for you to, once you're at that level and like nobody is questioning that you're at that level, it'd be very easy for you to kind of, you know, turn your nose up at other people. So it's dope to hear that you're still like, you know, a fan of not just your contemporaries, but a lot of people that have come in the game after you as well.
Yeah, when I hear somebody that's dope, that comes after me, like that's younger than me, I automatically want to do anything I can to help them, you know, get to where they need to be in a timely fashion. You know what I mean? Like if there's anything I can do to give them a little push or, you know, a little kickstart or whatever, I always try to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like waiting until niggas is fucking super hot. I was with Griselda. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very interesting to me how long it took for people to look at Griselda how they look at him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they changed nothing. They're doing the exact same thing. Like y'all knew they existed. Y'all just don't know what y'all like.
So yeah, you know, typical hip hop culture for a very long time has been that you got to kind of sun the kids that are coming up behind you. And so it's refreshing to me to have somebody that does not feel that way, that feels like, you know, he can use where he's at to open the door for some other people. So I have more clips from this interview for you guys. It's going to be in the feature that's going to be on the site on Friday. And then we have the review for the project coming out tomorrow because this is a good fucking album.
It's a very good album.
And so,
shout to Mr. Montgomery.
Shouts to Mr. Montgomery. All right. Let's move on to this week's new music, shall we? So it's a couple joints. It's a couple joints that are not new. A couple joints that we missed.
Right.
Thundercat dropped a single because Thundercat has an album coming out in April.
Mm-hmm.
The single is called Dragon Ball Do-Rag.
Dragon Ball Do-Rag.
And the hook is like, hey, baby, do you like my do-rag? Did I tie it right?
Man, listen. First of all, this joint is a whole vibe. If you are not up on Thundercat, you need to get on it. Funky.
And that's the beauty of it, is he knows he can say whatever the fuck he wants to, and we're all gonna be fine. There's a line in the song where he's like, "I know I'm all covered in cat hair," and I was like, "What?" My guy.
I'd be sneezing, but hey.
So
to each their own.
Me too. So he's so that's coming out in April. The other joint that I missed is apparently on January 31st, Phony People dropped a single with Meg Thee Stallion, and then
how dare you miss that?
How did I fuck with Phony People. I don't even know how I missed it. Well, I mean, I know how, but and then they dropped a video for it right before Valentine's Day, and what happened? Oh, I'm sorry. They dropped a video for it right before Valentine's Day. The song is pretty dope. I like Phony People a lot, and Phony People, when they dropped their last album, which I want to say was like 5 years ago, it was a lot of noise around them. I remember going to South by and seeing these cats on like 5 different stages, and then it got really, really quiet. And so I'm hoping that this and the fact that the label went and got Meg, who doesn't feel like a great fit at the beginning of her verse on this song, but then I think she finds kind of her spot on it. But I think the label going and reaching, it was exactly 5 years ago when they dropped their last album. But so I'm hoping that this single means that there's an album coming. I didn't find anything that would say that's what was happening, but let's hope.
Let's hope.
Cizz, are you up on Duke Deuce?
I am up on Crunk Ain't Dead.
I've been seeing Crunk Ain't Dead on my timeline for a minute. I wasn't paying attention.
Well,
I'm sorry.
we all catch up when we catch up.
I mean, it's fine.
It's not just
not super late.
That's not just the old people thing. That's also a regional thing. It's a vibe that has started to matriculate, and
Oh, so he is from Memphis.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, he signed to QC, so I assumed he was from here, but he's not. And also maybe because the song is called Crunk Ain't Dead, maybe that's why I felt that way. So he went and tapped Lil Jon, Juicy J, and Project Pat on the remix, which came out last week. I was gonna say Juicy J is rapping his ass off on this, but then I just realized that Project Pat is on here, and since I was listening and not watching, might have been Project Pat.
Well, Juicy J always raps his ass off, so maybe.
Does he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I am 1,000%. Cool. I know my Juicy J.
I'm thinking of the Stay Fly verse right now. It wasn't that kind of, but Anyway,
which one? The regular one or the remix?
I mean, but it's the same verses, just like for whatever reason, certain cities decided to reorder the verses on that song. I don't know why that happened, but Duke Deuce has the song that's been burning up the internet that apparently dropped in 2019. I don't know how I missed it.
I heard that he actually got invited to the Middle East by a prince to perform, but he couldn't go because it was All-Star Weekend.
Better, clearly. Duh.
Let's see, hang out with a Sheik or All-Star Weekend?
No, I mean, duh, you gonna go to All-Star, you know what I'm talking about?
The Sheik ain't going nowhere.
Sheik ain't going nowhere. He been a Sheik. His daddy was Sheik.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
No, guys, if you get an invitation to go hang out with a Sheik or go to All-Star, go hang out with the Sheik, okay? Thanks. Anyway, I wish him all the success in the world. I live for his Fat Boy Bop. And I hope that he gets to continue to do it because, man, that boy. But that's a Memphis thing. Like, Memphis niggas be dancing, dog. And I enjoy it. I enjoy Black Boy Joy. I'm a
big fan of Memphis. Memphis has brought a lot to the game.
Yes.
And we need to acknowledge Memphis as a A1 music city. Period.
Yes. Salute to Memphis.
Ain't Justin Timberlake from Memphis too?
He is.
Speaking of Justin Timberlake.
We can't.
Segue.
I guess so. Okay. You guys, Cizz ain't ours no more.
Nope.
Cizz is out of here.
She belongs to the streets.
Y'all prepare yourselves. She belongs to the suburb streets, particularly. She belongs to the country club, not even the streets. She belongs to the country club. So the first single from the new Trolls movie, which I didn't even know was happening, came out this afternoon. So yesterday afternoon, if you're listening to the show on Thursday. Your kids are going to love it. You're going to love it. It's about to be every fucking where. It's Justin Timberlake and Cizz, and it's called The Other Side. It's the perfect pop song that fits into a movie, but it's also just a great song, just like Can't Stop the Feeling, which is the single that Justin had off of the original Trolls movie. And they put Cizz's verse first. They let her go first.
Well, me and Soundtracks and Cizz have been doing very well for the last couple of years because All the Stars was my
All the Stars
joint.
is amazing.
So I'm very happy for her. This is a great record. Shout out to her and JT. My kids will be singing it and dancing, and
so will I.
Yep.
Sorry, guys, I never threw Justin Timberlake away.
What? Why? What? Come on.
Oh, no. They threw him away.
A
couple times.
That's cool.
So the movie is called Trolls World Tour. The soundtrack includes contributions from Anderson .Paak, Haim. Is that how you pronounce some girls' names? Haim? Is it Haim or Ham? those chicks. George Clinton, Mary J. Blige, Icona Pop, wow. Which we already know what song that's going to be. Ozzy Osbourne and Ludwig Göransson.
That guy.
Drops on March 13th.
That guy is
I'm trying to see when the movie comes out. But I don't see it. So I guess Pitchfork just wanted us to care about the soundtrack, which is fine. Elsewhere in new music, Anatomē just dropped a song called Shimmy.
April 17, 2020.
Out the movie, April 17th, you guys. So that gives your kids a whole month to learn that entire soundtrack. Sorry, parents. But it sounds like it's some good stuff on there for us, too, though. So, you know.
I'll take it.
I'll take it, too.
George Clinton?
Right. I'd rather just listen to that than than Kids Bop. Sorry, Miss Jackson. Me and your daughter.
There you go, smart boy. There it is.
I'm sorry. Anyway, Anatomē got with Boy Wonder and Vinyls and Manish, and took Kamiyah and made it into a song called Shimmy, and that came out today as well.
And my my love of all things Old Dirty is very intrigued, as Poppy would say on the Dan Le Batard podcast show on ESPN, whatever they call it.
Meaning that we saw that the song came
very
out.
Intrigued, very intrigued.
To it yet. Who else did we have new music that I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, we already talked about this Rick Ross joint. Nicole Buss dropped a video for her song Rain. Shouts to the homie Needles. Rain immediately had me looking up the sample, which also appears on Snoop Dogg's Boss's Life, and that's If Tomorrow Never Comes by the Controllers. I did my research, you guys. But it's because I always like that piano from that song, that sample. I always felt like was kind of I don't know, it's mellow in an upbeat way. It's like like driving back from the beach at sunset, kind of mellow, like you've had a great day and then now you're kind of wrapping up the day. But the song is very morose. That's the word for you guys to go look up today.
Wow.
That's
that really?
Morose. Look that up. And Jhené Aiko today dropped the track list for her album Chilumbo, which comes out March 6th. So
who is not here for Jhené Aiko?
But the Friday after that. Jhené Aiko featuring Future, Miguel, Nas, Big Sean, John Legend, Ty Dolla
Of course, Big Sean, duh.
Of course. Inspired by and everything. She has a song on here called Happiness Over Everything, in parentheses, HOE. Which spells hoe, you guys. I love Jhené Aiko.
She's also got a song called Triggered.
Right. Which
was about her breakup. Would be about.
It was about her breakup.
But they got back together again.
And then the immediate following song is None of Your Concern featuring Big Sean. Bitch, don't tell me you're triggered and then get back with your man and tell me it ain't none of my business. You
this
was
ain't
just
even
over
the
here
first
crying.
time, though. This ain't even the first time.
That's fine, but don't tell me it ain't none of my business like you was just on my couch eating ice cream and crying.
I'll tell you what's crazy. This is like the inverse of YG and Kalani.
Right. The complete opposite. So the song Happiness Over Everything, aka Ho, is the song that features Future. And also Miguel. Who else is on here? John Legend's on here, and Ab-Soul is on here, and somebody named Dr. Cho, but I don't know who that is.
We need more Ab-Soul.
We need more Ab-Soul. All right, you guys. If we had sponsors and advertisers right here, would be an amazing spot for a commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, the show's just continually sponsored by Naswhip. Niggas against smoking
weed in public places.
A subdivision
of Ixrafo.
I'm knocking somebody right the fuck out. Hey guys, we have space and we have listeners, and we want to tell our listeners about all the wonderful shit that you've got going on. Is it a project that's dropping? Is it a show that you have going on in a particular city? A product.
I have a beard for anybody who, has beard
grooming things. I have natural hair and I'm about sick of these braids. So I need some kind of either weave or hair product or maybe both.
T-shirts.
Either way, Our listenership is producers. So anything that you can
lifestyle
think of,
music people, that's our demographic.
Listen,
you know, hey,
fuck
pitch
with
us
us.
something.
You know we got it. All right. Next Friday is February 28th. It is not the last day of the month because this is leap year. Happy leap year, you guys. What we got coming out next week?
And the leap year 29.
G Herbo.
Okay, we got some cool stuff. Five Finger Death Punch, one of my favorite bands. You never heard of Five Finger Death Punch?
No.
Oh man, they're a really dope band. Yeah.
Tell me about them, sis. Don't just be like, oh yeah, they're amazing. Tell me something.
It's metal.
Okay.
That's it.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
Where are they from? What would we know them for?
I just know
How long
them
they been
from being named Five Finger Death Punch. They've been around forever.
You heard it and you were like, yeah, that's my
They
that's
have
my vibe.
been around
That's my tribe.
since 2005 or so. Actually, you know, I think the term came from Kill Bill, Five Finger Death Punch.
Right.
Which is why when I first saw the name, I was like, I gotta listen to it. Now, I'm a low-key metal fan. So, you know, Five Finger Death Punch, metal, Quentin Tarantino, I'm sold.
Okay.
So, yeah, Five Finger Death Punch. Their album is dropping this weekend.
Yep. Also, G Herbo, Jadakiss, which I haven't paid attention to a lot of the promo that Jadakiss with the hair has been doing for his new album because Jadakiss with the hair is hard to look at.
We know what it's going to sound like.
Oh.
I'm just saying, listen.
Do you know? Because it might not be what you think. It might not.
After all these years?
People evolve.
After all these years?
Things happen in people's lives.
Okay.
Okay.
So we expecting...
I don't know.
Listen, I love Jadakiss for who Jadakiss is. I've just been listening to Jadakiss for... what year is it? 23 years? Is that about... Mm-hmm. That's right? 23 years?
Money, Power, Respect came out...
Wait. No, Bad Boy Mixtape Volume 1. Excuse me. Bad Boy Mixtape Volume 3 was the first time I heard him. I think that was 95. So...
Not 95, because 95 was still the Junior Mafia era. Big was still alive.
Yeah, Big was still alive.
You said Volume 3?
Yeah, Big
was not 95.
Big was still alive. You know why Big was still alive? Because he dissed them on their first record.
Wow, this is on Mixcloud, by the way. I'm about to send you the link.
Oh, I already have it.
Oh, my bad. Side A and Side B.
I sent it to Hatch. I already have it because they released 4 of them. And they're all iconic hip hop DJs. Who
96
did all of them.
96.
Okay, so 96. I know I was in high school. Yeah, because Big dissed them on the record because they made these raps on. You know, they did these Big Willie raps and he knew they were broke. So niggas talking that ain't living it crystal. That verse is a diss to them. So that's a little tidbit for you guys. Go do your homework. Bad
Boy Mixtape Volume 3, hosted by Puff Daddy with Stretch Armstrong.
What you gonna do when they come for you?
Static Selector? Is that what I'm reading?
You'll
That's
see.
not it.
Nah, it wasn't Static Selector.
No, hold on. I'm trying to look at the cover.
Bad boys. What you gonna do?
89 Tech 9 FM. I guess that's the.
So Puff is like talking trash and like the baby voice.
Because let me tell you something. Puff on mixtapes in the 90s is a whole entire vibe.
Yeah. So
I love it.
If you missed that era,
that's my spirit.
You got to go listen to 60 Minutes of Funk where Puff is introducing Mace for the first time and he's just absolutely going off.
Yes.
You know, Roy Jones in his rap, like he's just,
like even if you don't even
want
to
like Don
go,
King.
Even if you don't want to go down that rabbit hole to go find that mixtape, all you got to do is pull up The Professional Volume 1 with Clue. That very first listen, that's my spirit.
You should have already pulled that up because Volume 1 and Volume 2 are an entire. They're just necessary hip hop listening material. Sorry.
I'm sorry, you guys. So I just found 2 random things on the internet. One is that Tierra Whack has like a whole campaign sponsored by Adobe, and that makes me really excited because it's a big ass banner at the top of Pitchfork's website right now.
Is that because she just gave $20,000 to I think 4 or 5 schools in Philly for the music programs? So shout out to T. I'm one of her stands. I stand for her.
I do too.
Because she's from the crib. She's easily like the joke is it's kind of like you go outside and you see Tierra Whack. If you're walking around Philly, you'll just...
Well, shit, next time I go to Philly, I got to walk around. I feel like my niece ain't...
I ran
I'm about
into
to text my niece like, yo.
I ran into her at Rec Philly when I was back home. And, this is just... It's dope, man. It's good to see somebody just putting on for the community and showing love. So shout out to Tierra Whack for doing that. Big things.
I love her so much. The other thing that the internet just told me, and I don't even have the brain capacity and we don't have the time to delve into this, but Earth has acquired a brand new moon that's about the size of a car.
What? Did the Space Force find that?
Probably not. It says astronomers at the Catalina space. You gonna make me really go into
Hold
this?
up,
Listen.
but Pluto can't be a planet no more, though, right?
Right. So it was spotted. Here's the thing that I love about when they tell us about shit in space. They don't never tell us about shit in space the day it happens. It don't ever be like, yo, niggas was looking up in space yesterday and they saw this. Nah. On the 19th of February, astronomers at the Catalina Sky Survey in Arizona spotted a dim object moving quickly across the sky. Over the next few days, researchers at 6 more observatories around the world, 6 more.
Where'd it come from?
Watch the object designated 2020 CD3. Y'all, we about to get invaded. The coronavirus is the beginning.
Where'd it come from?
I don't know.
That's my question. Like,
no link to a known artificial object has been found. So
it's
they think
the size of a car.
Yeah.
No.
Well, basically, they're saying that it's more than likely an asteroid that got pulled into the gravitational pull, and now they just got to fuck with us forever. Guys, I don't need to be on the internet. Anyway, also dropping albums on Friday. Lil Baby is dropping an album. I'm very excited because there's an artist named Soccer Mommy dropping an album. I don't know who she is.
Listen, but we're going to listen. We are absolutely listening to Soccer Mommy.
Definitely, 100%. Young Chop is dropping a project called Young Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can absolutely claim that. And Zaytoven has pulled together a super group of Lil Yachty, Lil Keed, and Lil Got It called the A-Team. And they're dropping a project by that name.
I need videos.
On Friday.
I need videos.
I think there's one out already.
So, on Saturday, Bad Bunny's dropping.
Yes. I love Bad Bunny.
I see what you did there, Bad Bunny. I see what you did there. Shout out to Tiny, who's also on that joint. That's going to be a vibe. But I see what you did there. Listen, it's the leap year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to take that 29th day.
Yeah.
For myself.
I'm with that.
So, Bad Bunny, he's going to do numbers. And we will be covering it.
We will be covering
it. We need to get in contact with Bad Bunny's publicist.
I think I could do that.
So we can, we know a few folks. So
we got some folks. All right, you guys. Well, that's gonna do it for the show this week. We appreciate you for rocking with us.
Make sure you hit us up on all social media at the Chop Block Pod.
Is it the Chop Block Pod or is it just Chop Block?
Chop Block Pod.
Y'all heard that it's
for
the
Instagram.
Right?
On Instagram, it's Chop Block Pod.
But y'all heard that was a the THE.
Right.
Okay.
Not duh.
Not duh.
We don't do that.
We went to school. No, I'm sorry.
We graduated.
I told y'all to look up the word morose. Goddamn. I'm talking about I'm a learned bitch.
And
I am a learned bitch.
And I knew what allegory meant. So
I did too. But I think I needed to hear it in a sentence.
Exactly.
Anyway, the show again is the Chop Block Pod on everything but Instagram, where we are just simply Chop Block Pod.
And we are available on everything.
Everything.
Ask Alexa. Ask Siri. Ask Google. Ask your grandma. We are available.
And tell your available uncle to ask about me. I'm at St. Boogie on these internet streets.
And I am Cizz215.
Mr. Q there, buddy. And we are at iStandard. And we out.
Peace.